say, guys, this time.
Good.
Is it filming?
It is.
Right then, chaps. First barbel of the day is on. Taken a little bit longer than I expected, to be honest. So they've obviously come to the feeder, had to keep plopping it in, and eventually one's taken it. There's been a lot of rubbish coming down the river, like you can see on the end of my rod and on my line, and that's meant I've had to keep recasting. But there's the first one. I don't normally fish 2 rods on the Wye either, because some of the shoals are so big that it can be a bit mental, but from the sounds of it, the farmer said some guy had 4 yesterday and lost 4, which doesn't sound too crazy for the Wye. Like, I've heard of people having like 20, 30 fish in a day. So we'll probably get away with 2 rods today. Johnny boy's had a chub. There he is. I've just tied up a longer hook link, thinking that my hook link was too short. And I haven't got a very big hook on either. Happened on that yet? The fights, man. Not a bad fish to start that. God, are you done?
Get in.
Well, we'll let him rest a little bit, guys, before we get him out, because as you would have seen, they put up a pretty epic fight, and they're absolutely exhausted when you get them in, and it just helps them go back a little bit better if you let them rest beforehand and then give them a little rest after. Then they go back fine. No rush, because we'll probably catch plenty of these today if we've caught one within, what, how long we've been fishing? An hour?
Yeah.
So we should catch plenty. Probably put the kiss of death on it now, but still. Sweet. Well, there we go. First barbel of the day, and it's actually a very good one for the Wye. This is £9 exactly. We thought it was a chunky fish, so we decided to weigh it, set a bit of a benchmark for the day. And yeah, £9, so I'm absolutely buzzing with that. Cracking fish. Lovely fish to start. Right then, guys, so I've held him in the net for a while now. What we do is, there you go, he's kicking. You always wait until they're kicking off like that, and yeah, you can let them go. Turn this net over and let this fish go. Just keep your net over him, and then obviously if he's struggling, you can do something about it. But no, he's fine. Brilliant stuff. Awesome. Right, see if we can get another one. There we go, guys, second fish of the day, and it's a Wye chub. I've had that one on the downstream rod on 2 12mm boilies, as you can see, hooked in his mouth there. Funny bites, you can tell, definitely tell when it's a chub. The barbel just wrenched the rod round. The chub are a lot more like little quivers and knocks like that. So yeah, I'd say it's probably £2.5, getting on for free, something like that. But yeah, nice to get another bite. So slip this one back, get the rod back out. Here we go, guys. So John's into his first barbel of the day. River's actually rising. There's a little flat spot in my swim where I went down to get water for my ground bait, and yeah, that's now underwater. So rising coloured rivers are good conditions for barbel, but we've got a few other people here now. Some chap has decided to sit probably no more than 20 yards above me on the other side, which is a little bit annoying, but hopefully it won't affect my fishing too much. And John's got his first fish of the day, so happy days. Or his first barbel of the day, shall we say.
I've had 2 minnows on the other rod.
2 minnows.
Round it in.
How quick was the bite then?
Within a minute, I literally just put the rod down, let off a little bit of line. Found my Lucas head.
There he is.
God, I forgot how hard they pull. Whether I go in the river.
Go. Barbel in the net. There you go, John. First barbel of the day. Happy with that one?
Yeah, nice to get a bite.
And how big is it?
8.5 pounds, something like that.
Not a bad average size at all. This trip so far.
Take that.
Hopefully more to come.
So if you want to try something else, like a boilie, what I do is I take the band, slide that up, and that actually acts as your stop then. That won't come off unless you get a fish on it. But you can also do that with meat if you pull the meat through. The band will act as a bait stop. Sort of expands inside the bait. So I can fish a pellet on the band, or like a like a boilie dumbbell.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I'll give that a try. Donk.
Well, folks, not checked in for a little while as things have been really quiet after those 2 barbel at the start. You know, I had a chub, John had a chub first thing. It looks like I've just sat behind John now wondering whether I'm going to move, and it looks like John's hooked a chub. It was a strange sort of bite. It's either a small barbel or a chub. A real twitchy sort of take. It is indeed a chub.
Not bad,
Looks quite a nice chub. Well done.
Shall I bring him up to have a look?
Yeah. Oh, man. There we go. And there's John's chub.
Second one of the day, a little bit bigger than the first.
Nice long fish, very well spawned out. Probably be a decent size if it had any depth to it. But nice one. Right chaps, just a little update, and yeah, things have gone really slow. Everything's changed from this morning. I thought we were really going to bag up when we had them barbel early, but hasn't really happened. I mean, John's had 2 chub and a barbel, I've had 1 chub and a barbel, so at least we've caught, but I fished this stretch a lot of the time, a lot in the past, and I would have expected a couple more fish. interestingly, the river's been rising the whole time we've been here, so that will be playing a part. I've always found that generally a rising river is harder than one that's peaked and is falling away again, mainly because obviously you've got all this debris coming down, and you think that the fish are trying to negotiate that. Obviously it's hitting your line and dragging your rig out of position as well, so yeah, I always find a rising river to be harder. The colour hasn't coloured right up as well. I've tried some quite big baits and I haven't really had any bites on those. Interestingly, my barbel came on a tiny little 8mm pellet. So groundbait feeders might not be the way. I did say to John that what we might have done is there could be a group of fish there in between those swims, and all we've done is once we've caught them, we've spooked them back, because the barbel on the Wye these days are a lot more pressured than what they used to be when I started fishing here. When I started fishing here, it didn't really matter what you did, you could always catch plenty of them, but they're a lot more pressured than they used to be. And yeah, they have certainly wised up a little bit to just lobbing feeders. You've got to be a little bit more sly with how you do things and keep changing things around. You'll still catch them when they really get on it, like later on in the day. I would expect us to get more bites, but ideally we want to be getting bites all the way through the day and keep the fish coming, but that hasn't been the case. I've tried moving swims. I'm in a new swim now. Like I said earlier on, I don't normally fish 2 rods on the Wye, but because we'd heard like I said, mate boy yesterday who fished this yesterday had 4 and supposedly lost 4. Now that's not hectic by any Wye standard. I mean, by any other river in the UK, hooking 8 barbel in a day is insane. But when the Wye is really on it, you can have like 20, 30 fish in a day sometimes. So we knew it wasn't going to be non-stop, but we're not even really picking up. I would have wanted to pick up one every hour and a half, every 2 hours or so. That's when you know you're going to have a good day on the Wye generally, and that hasn't been the case. We're just really scratching around for bites at the moment. I've incidentally just switched back to 2 tiny little pellet hook baits just to see if that was the difference in this new swim, and I haven't had a knock in here, so I'll probably be on the move again in a minute. What you do find on the Wye is the fish always switch on later in the day, so I'm happy to try these other swims. Might get a bonus fish, but I'll be back in the swim where I had the barbel earlier later, and hopefully we can get some more out of there. I imagine John's just going to persevere with his spot. He's got a bit of a soft spot for that swim. So yeah, there we go. That was just a little midday update. Probably got, I think it's nearly 3 o'clock now, so it gets dark at about 8:30, something like that, maybe just before 8. No, about 8 to 8:30 I think is time we'll be leaving. So yeah, we've got a little bit of time to try and make something happen, and it generally happens really quick when you're on fish. So alright, sweet, let's get back to it and see if we can force one out. Well, a bit of action. John's just returning another chub. What's that, about £3?
Yeah, about the average size.
I've just caught a micro chub on a pellet. There we go. Hopefully things are looking up. The river's started dropping again. So hopefully then Barbel will switch on. There we go, guys, another Wye chub, probably 2.5, £3, something like that. I'm literally just about to leave this swim and go back to the swim I started in as well. I just packed everything up and then turned around and my rod was going mental. I'm still probably gonna leave it, but I just feel the other one's got a better chance of a barbel. It's more consistent swim, so yeah, but at least we caught something from this swim, so happy days. love the fat of a barbel, do I? I love them. I love the fat of a bab. Oh, look at him. Get in that net. Get in that net. Come on.
Got him!
Yes. All of £3. There we go, chaps. It's taken a very long time, but I finally got my second barbel of the day. I've had to leave the feeder out there for absolutely ages as well. It's been out there probably half an hour, well longer than what I'd normally leave it. And yeah, it's just, rod's just slammed right round and I got one. So hopefully it's the start of many. Right then guys, so we've just put that my second barbel of the day back. Like I say, it's been strange today. It's taken, I would have expected bites all day having caught one so early, but it never really materialised, and even when I moved swim I couldn't get a bite, so it just shows that they just went off the feed for whatever reason. And yeah, we've managed to catch one now, so hopefully things are picking up for the evening. While I got the rod out of the water, I'll just quickly show you the rig. I'm using the same rig on both rods. Like I say, a lot of areas of the Wye you can't actually use two rods, but this is one stretch where you can. And I wouldn't normally advise it, but the Wye's been fishing a little bit tricky this year, and to be honest, you're not hurting because you're not going to be getting the bites like you would have done previous seasons where you're just getting double takes and all sorts of craziness happen. I think the chance of that happening today are quite slim. So anyway, so yeah, if you've watched any of the Wye videos we've done, you will have seen this rig plenty of times before, and if you've watched any fishing, if you go fishing, you will have seen this plenty of times before. It's nothing special. So just got that's a big 5-ounce feeder on there, just running on the line. On my other rig, that's actually on a run ring, so I can change the weight. But what I found with these feeders is actually that little loop there is very hard to get a run ring that actually goes through that. So yeah, a little tip with those, just bear that in mind when you get those. Then I've got a buffer bead, swivel, and that is an end trap, quarter end trap braided hook link, probably a couple of foot, down to a little tiny Drennan Specialist barbel hook. And yeah, that's a size 10, and on that I've got a little band, and on that all I'm putting on is an 8mm banded pellet. Now I think when there's any visibility in the water, you're better off using smaller baits, in my opinion, especially in the daytime. When it gets to a bit later, you can put on big lumps of lunch meat and boilies and all sorts, and you'll still get bites. But yeah, I think when things are tricky, keep the baits as small as possible, and you should catch them. So there we go, that's what I'm putting out there. Such a bad weed. And the visual. Right then guys, so here we are. Probably only got about maybe 45 minutes of light left. We're really in the Barbel witching hour now, that magical time on any river when things seem to happen, but don't know what it is today. It hasn't fished well, and it doesn't look like it's gonna switch on. What we were sort of praying for was that they're just going to come on in this last period, and nothing. You can catch the odd random fish searching them out with the feeder, just pinging them to different spots in the swim, but nothing is coming to any serious amount of bait, which means your chances of a hit are very, very small. Tried lengthening hook links, shortening hook links, tried bigger baits, small baits. So we've tried all sorts of things, but we haven't been able to keep them coming today. It's quite a common case on the Wye now. A few of us were talking about it, and it's changed from the river that it was years and years ago when people were having like 15 fish a day and stuff like that. A lot of the catch reports on the river now are very similar thing, 2s and 3s, and whether it's because the fish have just wised up and they won't take you relentlessly casting big feeders on their heads and catching them like that anymore. Obviously they still fall for it, but the whole shoal won't fall for it. It spooks them. So, I mean, the guy above me on the other side, I haven't seen him catch anything. I had a little knock then on the downstream rod. So yeah, it's been a very frustrating day for everybody down here on this stretch, and obviously the pressure doesn't help. This is the most amount of anglers I've ever seen on this stretch. I didn't even know you could fish the other bank. So yeah, that won't help. Obviously, if you were on your own and you could rove all the swims, you'd have 5 or 6 fish. But it's strange because they don't spend much time alone, these fish on the Wye, so it's strange to just get 1 in a swim and 2 in this one. You know, you think there'd be more sat out there waiting, but they don't appear to be not getting any sort of really real indications at all, and then just get a random bite out of the blue. That's pretty much what it's been today. So yeah, we'll keep trying. The good thing with this stretch is you can fish a little bit into dark. Again, a lot of the Wye and Usk beats and a lot of the other beats on the Wye, you have to be gone. But as this is private land, you can fish a little bit into dark here. They don't mind. So yeah. Hopefully one of these actually goes. Hopefully John can get another one as well. But it's crazy, really, because from this morning we were thinking, wow, you would have seen me in the video. I thought, well, it's going to be a crazy day if, you know, to catch one that quick. But see, again, whether that spooked the rest of the shoal off and it's put them on edge for the rest of the day and they're not going to feed till right near dark, or they've just moved off, who knows. But there we go. We can but try, and it's a beautiful place to sit, isn't it? Look at that sun going down behind me. Absolutely lovely. Come on, just one more. That funky setup. Right, guys, I just thought I'd show you the baits that I've used today. I've used 2 different ground baits, mixed 50-50 together. The Silver X feeder, which is a really good ground bait for exploding out the feeder, and the Match Black, which I've had quite a lot of success on, mainly with roach, but there's a lot of hemp in it, yeah, I thought that would be a good mix, and it's plugged the feeder well. To it, a few added extras. I put in some smoked salmon oil whilst I was mixing it up. That was when the mix was dry. Added this in, so all the oil went into it. And interestingly, what I've had all my bites on have been on these 8mm sauce pellets. As you can see, nice and red, and that red dye comes off on your hands as well. So the fish obviously like it. That's what I've had all my Wye fish on this season so far. Wow, here we go, guys. Downstream rod's gone, and we've got a chub. Yeah, might be one of the last fish we catch today, but yeah, at least we've caught something else. That's ideal. Like I said, it's that witching hour now, so hopefully another barbel comes to see us, but if not, we'll take that. There we go, lovely Wye chub, slipping back.